It's Wednesday, June 25th, and welcome to the Daily Blueprint. I'm Hannah Moldavan, Deputy Communications Director for the Democrats, and your host today. First, there's a lot happening on Capitol Hill, so we're going to walk you through everything you need to know, how we got here, what it all means, and what Democrats are doing about it. First, how we got here. At the direction of Donald Trump, Republicans put forth a billionaire first budget bill, also known as a reconciliation bill. Now, reconciliation is a specific legislative tool where everything in the bill has to do with the budget. And most importantly, it only needs a simple majority in the Senate to pass, making it a great way for Trump and MAGA Republicans to sneak through their dangerous agenda in Congress. So far, the bill has passed the House, despite warnings that the legislation would cut healthcare for 16 million people and rip away food assistance for more than 3 million Americans. Constituents keep telling their Republican representatives they don't want Medicaid or food assistance cuts. Republicans know this bill would have dangerous and even fatal consequences for their own voters, but they passed the bill anyway. Now, the bill is in the Senate, where they're proposing even deeper cuts to Medicaid now, more than the House version. And in an ironic twist that we couldn't even make up ourselves, 16 House Republicans now say they won't support the Senate's proposed cuts to Medicaid, even though all of them had no problem with Medicaid cuts in their version of the bill. They voted for it. We're not going to be fooled by this, though. Republicans know that cutting Medicaid isn't popular, and now they're trying to save themselves ahead of the midterms. Not on our watch. So let's take a closer look at one of the signers of this letter, David Valadao from California. His constituents were literally protesting in the streets about cuts in this bill. Here's what he had to watch on his local news at home.
Protesters continue to target Central Valley Congressman David Valadao as a potential vote on the future of Medicaid looms large.
And back in Washington, Senator Thom Tillis admitted what we all know, that the cuts to Medicaid will cause major electoral losses. He even started handing out flyers during a closed-door Republican caucus meeting. There's the flyer. And we must truly be in the upside down because Senator Chuck Schumer agreed with Tillis and highlighted the flyer during a Senate press conference yesterday. Let's listen.
In the caucus, he's handing this out. Republicans are really beginning to learn how bad the big ugly bill is for them. Tillis is right. I agree with him. Okay? It'd be catastrophic for North Carolina with Medicaid coverage at risk for over 600,000 people and forfeiting over $38 billion to his home state.
And now, thanks to Senator Tillis, Republicans have a one-page Republican-sponsored handout spelling out the consequences of this bill to them. Meanwhile, Senator Mitch McConnell's response to the millions of people worried about their health care is that they'll get over it. It sounds like Mitch went to the Joni Ernst school of "We're all going to die anyway." Do you remember that clip? In case you forgot it, we just have to play it again.
So, people are not, well, we all are going to die. So, for heaven's sakes.
Democrats, on the other hand, are not sitting down on our hands while people's lives are at stake. As the bill has been making its way through the Senate, Democrats in the House and Senate have done everything they can to warn working families about the dangers of this legislation. And we've highlighted a lot of them here on the Daily Blueprint. Here, let's go through some of the top ones right now. Just the other week, Senate Democrats highlighted how the bill would devastate rural hospitals. Before that, House members and senators hosted a spotlight forum on how the bill would harm women and their families. And on the 3-year anniversary of the Dobbs decision yesterday, senators hosted a spotlight forum on Republicans' backdoor abortion bans, including the reconciliation bill's role in those efforts. Let's listen.
And you know Trump's big betrayal bill that Republicans are working around the clock to pass right now, that one that would strip 16 million people of their health care, the one that would shutter rural hospitals across the country, that includes even more attacks on abortion. They just can't help themselves. They are effectively barring ACA marketplace plans from covering abortion care, something that is actually required in many states, including my home state of Washington.
Democrats won't take our foot off the gas when it comes to pushing back on this big, ugly bill. And the pressure is working. Senate Majority Leader John Thune even admitted that Democrats' messaging on how this bill would cut Medicaid to fund tax cuts for the ultra-wealthy is getting through. Thanks for recognizing our hard work, Senator. So what happens next? Trump set an ambitious July 4th deadline for this bill. But this bill is facing plenty of drama and hurdles in the Senate as some Republicans consider the real electoral consequences of cutting their constituents' health care. Despite all of this, Trump has already started planning a tour for his victory lap. He wants all hands on deck across the country to tout the big, ugly bill, and we at the DNC welcome it. If Trump and Republicans want to remind working families to their faces that they're proud of cutting their health care and food assistance, they should do it. Be our guest. See how it works out for you in the midterms next year. And working families aren't just fearful about losing their health care. A new report reveals that families nationwide are worried about their personal finances too under Donald Trump. Consumer confidence is down across the board this month, with the largest declines felt by Republicans. Hardworking Americans have already cut back on spending since Trump took office. They're financially hurting and scared. So Democrats like Representative Ted Lieu are sounding the alarms on social media. This isn't something to be taken lightly either. A whopping 70% of US consumers expect a recession in the next year. And considering how Trump's economy has been going so far, they might be right. Now, on Monday, we told you about Trump's attacks on the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, which have effectively kneecapped the agency's ability to protect you and your wallets from scammers. Well, a new analysis found that Trump's effort to dismantle the CFPB has cost Americans at least $18 billion in higher fees and lost compensation for consumers. That's right, Trump's attacks on the CFPB are costing you directly. The CFPB's job is to protect consumers, and thanks to Trump, we're now getting hit with excessive credit card late fees and overdraft fees that Biden put a cap on. Let's listen to Senator Elizabeth Warren, a key architect of the CFPB, explain.
This is about destroying an agency that helps Americans who get scammed. Remember, the CFPB has returned more than $21 billion directly to families cheated by big banks and wealthy corporations. And they don't want to stop at the CFPB either.
And today for Democrats on offense, Congressman Robert Garcia was elected by his colleagues as the top Democrat on the powerful House Oversight Committee yesterday. Garcia has big plans for the job. He wants to bolster House Democrats' effort to hold Donald Trump and his administration accountable, zeroing in on Trump's corruption and abuses of power. Let's listen to how Garcia plans to use his new leadership role to accomplish this.
What we do on this committee is at the heart of what Congress is about. It's about keeping executive power in check. It's about holding the administration accountable to the people. And it is investigations to ensure that corruption is not running rampant in this government. We know that Donald Trump, week after week, breaks the law and the Constitution. We know that corruption is alive and well in this White House. And so we, as oversight, have a responsibility to ask the tough questions, to bring the right people in front of our hearings, and to get answers for the American public. And at the same time, we have to make sure that we're making a progress in efficiency and effectiveness, that government is actually working better for the people.
Speaking of House Democrats holding the Trump administration accountable, Representative Lori Trahan from Massachusetts put RFK Jr. in his place as he lied about Trump and Republicans' Medicaid cuts. It's brilliant. Let's take a look.
People are going to lose their coverage. Uncompensated care is going to rise. Hospitals are not prepared for that reality. Look, here's the truth. People are going to die. These hospitals are going to close. Labor and delivery units are going to disappear. If mental health services are stripped away, that's the consequence of your policies. And look, you've already shown that you don't have a grip on your department. You don't know basic things that are on your website or programs that are closing.
Gentlelady's time has expired.
Republicans can lie all they want, but the reality is that they will be the ones to blame when millions of people lose their health care. And Democrats are making sure they know that. And finally, what you can do today as Senate Republicans continue to decide just how far they're willing to go in cutting essential services like Medicaid, it's more important than ever to remind them that a vote to cut Medicaid will be remembered at the ballot box. So pressure them to vote no. If you live in a state with a Republican senator, text call to 43367. Thank you so much for joining us today for this episode of the Daily Blueprint. We'll be with you right here every day at 10 a.m. on the DNC's YouTube page. Until tomorrow.